पानी की बोतल। वेलकम फ्रेंड्स। हाँ, हमने इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन की फर्स्ट क्लास, वी हैव टेकन द फर्स्ट क्लास ऑफ द इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन, और पार्ट फर्स्ट वो कंप्लीट। नाउ वी विल मूव टू द सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ द सेम क्लास। लेटर ऑन क्या हुआ कि फर्स्ट क्लास में आपने देखा कि जिसने फर्स्ट क्लास नहीं देख रखी वो पार्ट फर्स्ट देख ले। एंशियंट इंडिया की पूरी सीरीज चल रही है जिसमें हम पेलियोलिथिक एज से लेके जो 3 डिवीजन है उससे लेके जहां तक मिडाइवल इंडिया शुरू हो रहा है उस तक जाएंगे। ओके, वी विल टेक द क्लासेज चैप्टर वाइज चैप्टर, लाइक वी हैव कंप्लीटेड द वैदिक एज, और ये हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन की सेकंड क्लास है। ओके, सो लेट हैव द, यू हैव ऑलरेडी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड अबाउट द हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन कि कौन कौन से एराज में बट रखे थे, क्या चीजें हैं। Today we will discuss the later on part, and after that we will have some questions. That can we do some questions over it? And if we can do the questions, means our topic is well versed. Okay, so let move on. Now we will get the topic that it is IVC. अब IVC के अंदर कुछ we will know some terminology. We will know some terminology. If we will get some terminology, it would be easy to discuss the chapter. Okay, so let's try to know some terminology. First is, अगर ये 5-6 वर्ड आपके क्लियर है, देन इट वुड बी बेटर कि आईवीसी डेवलप कैसे हुई लेटर ऑन. ओके, द फर्स्ट वर्ड इज एनिमिज्म. हैव एनीवन गॉट थ्रू दिस वर्ड और नॉट, आई डोंट नो, बट ये वर्ड है, थोड़ा यूनिक है कि व्हाट इज एनिमिज्म. एनिमिज्म is related to the Indus Valley Civilization, that enemies, actually what the word enemies is कि to worship the nature, stone and the other forms of the god. To worship nature, stone and other forms of the god is known as animism. The second word is citadel. Citadel was what? In Kalibanga areas and the other areas like the Dholavira, citadel was like just like fort, and that fort which is higher on the western side. कि fort which is higher on the western side and that is lower on the eastern side is known as citadel. Later on we will discuss it कि citadel आने की वजह से फर्क क्या आया society में, how the society get differentiated from one to another. Like there was no, we don't know about the casteism in the Harappan civilization or the Indus Valley civilization because we don't have that kind of the literature. Yes, they were literate, of course they were literate, but we don't know about the literature, that whether whether they were they were like there was casteism or not, whether there was any religious literature or not, because there are symbols or pictographic. Okay, black and red ware, this is pottery. And the later on one another pottery is used, ochre colored pottery. So to make your cards, so to make your work simple, I have included both kind of the pottery here only, black and red ware and OCP, ochre colored pottery. Black and red ware means what? Ki a red pot is there, black designs are over it. Okay, so it is known as black and red ware. And second, ochre colored poetry means the color of the pottery is ochre, जिसको हम गेहुआ वर्ण बोल देते हैं. सो दैट इज नोन इज ओसीपी. यूनिकॉर्न इज व्हाट? वन हॉर्न एनिमल. So what we have obtained from the seals in the Harappan civilization, there is one horned rhino or one horned bull, like the pictures are represented in that form. Sometimes there are two horns on the yogis or the meditative positions are there. We will discuss in the chapter later. Urbanization. What is the characteristics of the urbanization in the township of the IVC? It is a special characteristics of the urbanization in the IVC, Harappan civilization. Why? Because at that contemporary time, there was no other civilization that was so better planned in the terms of the township, terms of the trade, art, craft, industry. So it is known as urbanization. So it is known as, so Harappan civilization is not rural, it is urban in nature. One or two more word you can keep in your mind. That is, here only I am writing it. Ideograms. One word was ideograms. Like it was pictographic. Or ideas. When we read about the script of the Harappan civilization, we will note that it can't be said that it can have or it can't have a particular language. But we can say one thing that is confirmed, and that it is having the ideogrammic, means there is pictographic or it is having the ideas. Okay, so it is having the ideas, that is known as ideogram. If these six or seven words are clear in your mind, you can repeat it with me. Okay, the first is that enemies, that is worshipping God in many forms, like stone, like the people leaves, palm, tree, okay, anything else, and whatever the form may be. But when we revert the god in the different forms other than the statue, then it is known as animism. There may be the statue also, but it have different form. Like today's we, in 13th century we have the bhakti terms like sagun bhakti and nirgun bhakti. So these are the different forms of the god. So it is known as animism, not confined to the only one form of the god. Second is citadel. Citadel is just like a fort, and the difference in the fort and the citadel is that the Harappan or Indus Valley civilization citadel is higher on the western side and the lower on the eastern side. There may be the sectoral differences, societal differences, or there may be the other kind of the differences. Perhaps it may be like that. Kings are living on the higher side and the slaves are living on the lower side. We can't use the term slave because we don't know, but the lower strata person are living on the lower side. Yes, of course, the barracks have been obtained from the Harappan civilization, that laborers or the daily wagers were living there. Okay, so there may be a lower strata. We will read it in the later class. The black and red ware and OCP are the kinds of the potteries. Unicorn is an animal that is having the only one horn on its head. Okay, sometimes male and female also, they decorate themselves with the headgears. And the final term is urbanization, means that the cities developed by the Hadappans were having the good art, were having the good craft, the industry flourished there, and the other things also were flourishing there for having the trade. Villages were providing with the food supply, and the cities were providing with the trade and the art and the craft. Okay, so there was a communication between the villages and the towns, and that setup may be in the event of the fair, like Mohenjo-Daro, swim, Great Bath. Fair may be organized there. Okay, the seventh word is ideograms. Ideograms is what? It is pictographic or ideas. It is either pictographic or it is ideas. Means the script may be the ideas was the script, because fish is there, swastik sign is there, some arrows are there, downside arrows, left and right arrows. We don't know what they are saying because we haven't deciphered the script of the Indus Valley Civilization yet till today. We are researching on it, but we haven't got the idea that how it was working. There may be a particular language. Yes, of course it was. Then only they are writing it is in the form of the pictographic. But there is a debate. Okay, what the actually it is saying. So it has not been deciphered yet. Okay. Next term, you are reading one term back here and there, Mesopotamia, because it is contemporary civilization to the Indus Valley civilization. It is contemporary civilization to the IVC. Okay. हाँ, मेसोपोटामिया है क्या एक्चुअली? मेसोपोटामिया इज सेंट्रल एशिया के अंदर एक सिविलाइजेशन जो इजिप्ट और इराक, ईरान इनके करीब है। इराक के अंदर दो नदियां हैं, ठीक है, और दो टू रिवर आर, फर्स्ट इज यूफ्रेटस एंड द सेकंड इज टिग्रिस। और जो इसके बीच की लैंड है, दिस इज नोन एज मेसोपोटामिया। दिस इज नोन एज मेसोपोटामिया। इसी को मेसोपोटामिया, मेसोपोटामिया is having the high structures, symmetry is there. We will read in contemporaneous of India also, that Indus Valley civilization at that time, Harappan civilization. Okay, now move to the chapter. अगर ये 7-8 वर्ड आपके क्लियर है तो चैप्टर समझना बड़ा इजी होगा। हम इन चीजों से डिस्कस करेंगे कि बाकी एस्पेक्ट्स क्या क्या थे जो हमने पिछले में पढ़ा कि सोशल एस्पेक्ट, आर्ट, क्राफ्ट, तो सोसाइटी कैसे चेंज हुई। इंडस्ट्री और ट्रेड कैसा था, कि हाउ वाज इंडस्ट्री एंड ट्रेड सोसाइटी एंड हाउ इट फाइनली डिक्लाइंड, कि जो आर्ट, क्राफ्ट, ट्रेड इतना प्रोग्रेस कर रहा है वो डिक्लाइन कैसा हुआ, और इन सोसाइटी के इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेड और डिक्लिनेशन के बीच में कि इनका रिलीजन क्या रहा होगा। जब हम रिलीजन को जानेंगे देन वी विल नो द स्क्रिप्ट ऑफ देम। और इन्हीं 5 चीजों के अराउंड ये चैप्टर बिल्ट है। दिस यू हैव टू कीप दिस 5 थिंग्स इन योर माइंड। फर्स्ट, सोसाइटी, कि अगर अगर आज की सोसाइटी हमें देखेंगे देन वी नो कि हाउ द इंडिया इज प्रोग्रेसिंग। सेकंड, इंडस्ट्री एंड ट्रेड, हम रिलेट कर सकते हैं कि आज की इंडस्ट्री कैसा है, आज की ट्रेड, हाउ द ट्रेड इज फ्लोरिशिंग। उस समय का भी कोई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर था, कोई इंडस्ट्री थी, कोई ट्रेड था, दैट वाज फ्लोरिशिंग. व्हेन फाइनली हाउ इट डिक्लाइंड. हाँ, डिक्लिनेशन से पहले कि यहाँ का रिलीजन कैसा है. एंड अगर रिलीजन है तो कोई तो लिटरेचर, कोई स्क्रिप्ट होगी. देयर शुड बी कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन द पर्सन बिकॉज दे आर सिविलाइज्ड व्हेन दे आर प्लानिंग द टाउन. मीन्स ऑफ कोर्स दे आर हैविंग सम माइंड टू राइट ए स्क्रिप्ट. ज्योमेट्रिकल फिगर्स आर देयर, एवरीथिंग. जो उनकी भाषा है, जो मेजर्स है, वेट्स एंड मेजर्स, उसके अंदर ऐसे है कि मल्टीपल में है, 8 के मल्टीपल में, कि 8 8 16 16 16 32. ये उनका माइंड चल रहा है कि वेट्स को मल्टीपल्स में बना रहे हो. कोई भी वेट मिला है, उस सील मिली है हड़प्पन टाइम्स की, दैट इज इन, उनका वेट मेजर किया गया तो ये रेशो निकल के आया 8 16 32. अगर मैं इसको सोचता हूं कि आई एम थिंकिंग इट, कि इसका मतलब क्या है, किसको ऐसे क्यों दिया गया 8 के अंदर, तो मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन के अकॉर्डिंग एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज निकल के आती है कि कोई भी डिजिट अगर आप उसका डबल करोगे तो इनमें से कोई ना कोई नंबर आ जाएगा. जैसे 1, 1 का डबल 2, यहीं पे मिल गया. 2 का फाइनली 4, तो मैंने इस बार 1 से शुरू किया था. 1 का डबल 2, 2 का 4, 3 का भी करूंगा तो कोई ना कोई इनमें से आगे डिजिट मिल जाएगी. तो बड़े माइंडेड पर्सन थे, उनकी मैथमेटिक्स एक ग्रेट लेवल पे थी. उनके स्ट्रक्चर्स देखो मोहनजोदाड़ो के, उनके स्ट्रक्चर्स देखो कि सिटाडेल कालीबंगा का, जो हनुमानगढ़ और गंगानगर के लैंड के बीच में है. ओके, उनके कोई भी स्ट्रक्चर है वो बड़े अच्छे से फ्लोरिस्ड है. हम इन 4-5 टॉपिक को डिस्कस करेंगे. पहले हम लेते हैं कि इंडस्ट्री और ट्रेड, कि उनकी इंडस्ट्री और ट्रेड हाउ इट वाज फ्लोरिशिंग. कि इंडस्ट्री कैसे ग्रो हो रही है. सो देयर इंडस्ट्री वाज ग्रोइंग. देयर इंडस्ट्री इज ग्रोइंग, कि उनकी इंडस्ट्री के अंदर मेजर चीजें क्या थी, क्या उनके आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट था. तो हमें कोटेम्पोरियस सिटी मिलती है मेसोपोटामिया. सो देयर इज ए सिटी नेम्ड मेसोपोटामिया. देयर इज ए सिटी नेम्ड मेसोपोटामिया that is linked with the IVC, that is known to the IVC. Indus Valley Civilization is known to the Mesopotamia. Why? The connection is of trade. Connection is of trade. And in trade in what way? Mesopotamia. IVC से क्या हो रहा है? एक्सपोर्ट इंडिया से. और यहां से भी कुछ इंडिया को क्या मिल रहे हैं? इंपोर्ट. एक्सपोर्ट एंड इंपोर्ट आर देयर. किस तरीके से है? व्हाट इज द वे, कि इंडिया क्या प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, उनको क्या दे रहा है? एग्री प्रोड्यूस. व्हाट दे आर सप्लाइंग? एग्री प्रोड्यूस, लाइक वेरियस क्रॉप्स, पल्सेज और barley. Other things are transported through the ports from the Lothal to the Mesopotamia. सेकेंड थिंग, कि उनको इंडस्ट्री के नाम पे बीड्स, लेपिस लाजोली, हाँ, ट्रेड के नाम पे उनको क्या क्या मिल रहे हैं? बीड्स, मोती मान सकते हो, लेपिस लाजुली, इट इज सम क्वार्टजाइट like Ratna. It is it is manufactured in the Badakhshan in Afghanistan, that is situated in Afghanistan, and from here it is exported to what? Mesopotamia. And Afghanistan is the part of the Indus Valley Civilization. So lapis lazuli is transport, beads, gold dust from the Manda, Kashmir. So the dust of the gold was obtained from the rivers in the Kashmir, and the actual location was Manda. That is IVC location or the Harappan location. Copper from the Khetadi mines, and the gold from the KGF, Kolar Gold Field, that it is in Karnataka. It is in Karnataka. Now we also import some from the Mesoamerica, some things, and that things were leather. So garments, because the Egypt and Mesopotamia are the area where the cotton is grown from the ancient era. In the ancient time, from the ancient to the till today, Egypt is the famous for cotton. Mesopotamia is famous for cotton belt. So the cotton was transported was through the ships to the Lothal port, and then rest of the India, that in the Indus Valley Civilization or the Harappan Civilization. The major items were like leather, woolen clothes, cotton clothes, and silver. Silver plates are found from the Mesopotamian culture in the Harappan culture, where the excavation have taken place, but not the other things are found. Why? Because all three are perishable items, means they will rotten or they have deteriorated. But the major thing has been obtained, that silver plates. Yes, they are also found in the deteriorated states. So these things are imported from the Mesopotamia to Indus civilization. The name of the Mesopotamia of IVC is mentioned as Meluha. What it is? Meluha. Meluha means that the persons of the Hadappans. The geography, the land of the IVC. Okay, it is mentioned as such. Two cities are also mentioned of the Mesopotamia. That one is Ur and second is Susa. These two cities are very important because the trade, because dozens of seals, dozens of the seals have been obtained from them, and it is known as Mesopotamia. Okay, and the cities are Ur and Susa. Ur and Susa. Ur and Susa are the trading cities, like we have the Lothal and Kalibanga or Lothal or Harappa. The same respect of the Ur and Susa is there in the Mesopotamian culture. Okay, there we have seals of the that have been developed in the Harappan culture. Means the currency of the Harappan culture plus seals that have pictographic or the ideograms of the IVC have been obtained from these cities. Other than that, the trade has been also linked with the Oman and Bahrain. Modern Oman and Bahrain, they are also linked with the trade. They are also linked with the trade of the Mesopotamia. So it was like industry was exploring in such a way and trade was exploring in such a way. So that there was two kind of the trades. First, inland, means Hadappans, Kalibangan and Mohenjo-Daro cities were interconnected to them. Badakhshan, from Badakhshan, lapis lazuli was used in India, as well as we are exporting it to the Mesopotamia. We were exporting it to the Mesopotamia. Second thing, we were also having these township to ruralship. Like rural and town were connected by terms of trade and agriculture produce. How? Villages provide agriculture produce. Villages क्या प्रोवाइड करते थे? एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस. उसके एक्सचेंज में शहर क्या देते थे? शहर क्राफ्ट, आर्ट की कुछ क्ले के बर्तन दे दिए, क्ले के जो वहां पे आर्ट थी, ज्वेलरी थी, कॉपर की ज्वेलरी थी, सिल्वर की ज्वेलरी थी. ये ज्वेलरी कौन प्रोवाइड करता था? सिटीज. टू हुम? विलेजेस. टू हुम? विलेजेस. तो ऐसे इंटरकनेक्टेड था हमारा ट्रेड. ओके. they were good at geometry also, so we can say that they were good at artwork, they are good at science work. इस बार मेंस में, यूपीएससी मेंस, देयर वाज ए क्वेश्चन दैट हड़प्पन्स वर नॉट गुड एट आर्ट वर्क. इलुसिडेट मीन्स ये बताइए कि हड़प्पन्स अच्छे नहीं थे आर्ट वर्क में. इलुसिडेट. बाय सच क्वेश्चंस यूपीएससी वांट टू चेक यू इन द ऑप्शनल और मेंस एग्जामिनेशन that they are contradicting yourself, or they are spitting the wrong fact, that they want to try that do you know the real fact. Now who has not gone through the ancient history, now who has not gone through the Hadappans artwork, will write a paragraph on that. Yes, they were not good at the artwork, yes, they did not contribute to some art form of the art. But one who has read will tell each and every point that how the industry flourished, how the craft and art flourished in that time, and they will tell every point that their interlinking of their culture to the Mesopotamia, interlinking their culture to the Bahrain and Oman. When they are exporting something, what they can export? Art, craft, good utensils. They are found in the other cultures in the Mesopotamia or Ur or Susa or other parts like the Balochistan, today's Balochistan, okay, Iran and Iraq border. Indian civilization, culture, utensils has been found, seals has been found, crafts has been found. Okay, even the gold dust was transported from India to other countries. Now you got it. Now your trade is finished. That how the trade flourished, with whom the IBC culture do the trade, and what happened at that time. Okay. Now the second point from the this trade, industrial trade has been done. Now we will move on to the society part. How the society flourished. You have seen one word at the beginning of the class, that was citadel. That was citadel. Before the mature Harappan phase, there was early Harappan phase, means before 2600 BC, there was early Harappan phase. So in early Harappan phase, the Harappans or the IBC culture was just Neolithic turned agriculturist or pastoralist. So in beginning they were pastoralist. But later on, when they are in the mature Harappan phase, they are having the art, craft, trade. There is intertrade. Okay. Now the city is developed. Now the township developed, and with this township, citadel developed. Okay. So citadel आए कहाँ पे? Like example कालीबंगा, धोलावीरा, Dholavira and Lothal, both sites are in Gujarat. And now what happened? Citadel developed. What was actually citadel was, that was western side was great and the eastern side was lower. It was great in height, means what? Ki here lived royal class. So the first differentiation after the mature Harappa phase, that citadels were developed, which was greater in the height on the western side and lower in the height on the eastern side. First point. Second thing, when it was greater on the western side, now king developed there and they are living the rich class. Okay, rich class was living in this side and the lower class is living in this side. The workers are living in this side. So this kind of the classification was given in the Kalibangan culture. But in Dholavira, this citadel was further divided. That this in between. Now there is poor class, there is rich class, and in Dholavira, about the third class developed. That they were bureaucrats or administrators, or what these were actually were intermediaries. Now, rich class, they are nobles, they are high in the class, they have to contact the poor or workers or daily wagers for their trade, for enlargement of their area in hectares or the acres. They have to enlarge their kingdoms also. Now, here a third class in between, like that is little higher than this and little lower than the higher class. They are intermediaries or some call them officers. So they are interlinking, that they are, through them king is meeting the workers. Through them king is meeting their workers or the daily wagers or the laborers. Barracks have been found on the lower side. Small barracks have also been found on the lower side or outskirts. It means there was a lower strata present in the mature Harappan culture. It can be clearly seen that these houses were not as good as the houses of the royal class was there. Okay, so the outskirts were having the barracks for the laborers, So this is the how the society was differentiated from one level to other level after it was developed at a greater level, like from early Harappan to mature. Like in Kalibanga, citadel is not so much developed till the early Harappan or the before Harappan phase, mature Harappan phase. But as the mature Harappan phase came, this citadel was growing at a larger space. Same classification has been found at Lothal. In Rakhigadi also, there has been some structures that has been found. Before Rakhigadi, Mohenjo-Daro was the largest, that it was spread. The only fort was spread in the 85 acres. But later on, when the Rakhigadi was excavated before 2 years, and it was found that Rakhigadi was more than the Mohenjo-Daro total area also, as well as fort area, because there are many other sites have been found at Rakhigadi in the last 2 3 years. Now the Rakhigadi is the officially most spread site of the Indus Valley Civilization. Okay, so the answer point of view has been changed, that before it Mohenjo-Daro was the largest place. Now Rakhigadi has beaten the Mohenjo-Daro. Okay, so this is the how society was differentiated. Many different professions are also found in the society. That bead maker, cobblers. It was a copper age. There was no iron because iron age was the Vedic age. So the copper smith was there. So these were the some professions. Means there was lower strata, bead makers, cobbler, coppersmith, goldsmith. These are the common terms that are found by looking at the excavations. Okay, 400 seals have been found. Approximately 400 seals have been found, and from there we can have the approximate idea that they were living in what way. because at some uh, society is defined, in some seals society is defined, in some seals there were tree leaves like people, so their religion, their society, their trade can be conferred from them, but we cannot read their script. So script is a different thing. So two things have already been covered. One is society, and in society we read society differentiation, कि society में बदलाव क्या हुए, क्या changes आए. And second thing is industry and trade. We have discussed industry and trade also. Okay. If we want to learn about the export, I have already told in the first class that Dilman, that is Bahrain, Meluha, Makan coast, that is like Makran coast. Makan was name given in the Mesopotamia, like it is in Balochistan, and many other places are defined in the Mesopotamian culture about the Indus Valley civilization. Like Meluha is the term given to the Indus Valley civilization culture by the Mesopotamians. Now we will move to the religion. Ki what was their religion? How they flourished? Okay, they used copper, gold, silver. These were the three metals majorly used, but there was no advent of the iron at that time because it came with the 1000 BC and that was in the Aryan age. Okay, the clear cut evidence of the iron in India is 1000 BC. Before 1000 BC, in 1500 and in 900, 1900 BC, there was proof of that having the iron, but not in India's mainland, but on the outskirts of the India. Okay, now we will have the religion. That what kind of the religion it was. So the IVC was, they worship the nature, or they were animistic in, तो नेचर वर्शिपर थे वो. Seals with palm leaves. लार्ज नंबर में मदर स्टेच्यू गोडेज मिली है, एंड दैट इज इन, जो क्ले की है. लार्ज नंबर मदर गोडेजेस. So their society was matriarchal. Means mother goddess is found in every second or third seal. So it can be inferred from there that guessed from there. We can't say clear cut, but it can be inferred from there that the society was generally matriarchal. Means mother was given more importance. Other than that, some from the Harappan culture, the seals of the linga and the yoni female seals have been obtained. So these can, they are some, there are some debates on this issue also, that some say this is linga, that is belonging to the Shiva, the male phallus, and the other yoni, the female one. One picture, one seal with the yoni. one seal or one picture of the female uterus with the plant growing out of it. Plant is growing out of it is also obtained, and this is considered as Mother Earth, depicting what? That it is Mother Earth. It is Mother Earth. So this female uterus, and there is a plant growing out of this, means the life has come in the form of the Mother Earth. So the mother goddess is prominent there. There is very few male deities or the male persons that are depicted in seals or the forms. So these seals, that they are either square or in the rectangular form, are made up of statite. And what is this statite? It is soapstone. It is soapstone. From Harappan culture, one yogi seal is also obtained. Sitting in meditative pose, and there is drapery, means सोल, जिसको हम सोल बोलते हैं हिंदी में, तो उस वो क्लोथ है. एंड क्लोथ का एक नियम है फ्रॉम द वैदिक एरा टिल बुद्धिज्म. एक ही रूल है कि लेफ्ट में नीचे से वो निकलता है और राइट के ऊपर तक आता है. जो राइट हैंड है उसके ऊपर तक, लेफ्ट के नीचे से, लेफ्ट हैंड के नीचे से. ओके, तो वो ड्रेपरी है जिसपे फ्लोवर डिजाइन बनी हुई, फ्लोवर मोटिव. मतलब वहां पे क्लोथ है वो डेवलप्ड है, और जो नीचे का क्लोथ है मेल्स का या फीमेल का, वो लोइन क्लोथ, लोइन क्लोथ है. ठीक है. साथ में वो गिर्डल भी पहनती है. क्या पहनती है? गिर्डल. गिर्डल इज व्हाट? जो वेस्ट के ऊपर फीमेल है और मेल है, दोनों क्या पहन रहे हैं? ऊपर उसके एक चेन टाइप पहन रहे हैं. आइदर ऑफ द क्लोथ, आइदर ऑफ some, there may be thread, or sometimes it is of jewelry also, like silver. When rich class is there, it is of silver. ये obtain किया गया. ओके. एक और स्टेटाइट की मूर्ति भी मिली है, जो स्टेटाइट की स्टेच्यू या सील that has been also obtained from the Indus Valley Civilization, and इसको नाम दिया गया पशुपतिनाथ. That is having the another name god of beast. इसी को some historian consider it is proto Shiva. एक योगी है, उनके पास में 4 एनिमल्स बैठे हैं. देर आर 4 सिटिंग एनिमल्स. दैट इज rhino, because rhino was very famous animal in the IVC. Okay. Elephant. Third is tiger, and fourth is buffalo. तो इस सील के अंदर क्या बैठे हैं? 4 एनिमल्स. वन इज फर्स्ट इज राइनो, एलिफेंट, और थर्ड इज टाइगर, एंड द फोर्थ इज बफेलो. तो हमें ध्यान रखना है, अगर इसको ध्यान रहे, भूले नहीं. ट्रिक फॉर दिस कि आप कई बार सीधा एग्जाम में पूछ लिया जाता है इन द यूपीएससी और सम अदर स्टेट पीसीएस एग्जामिनेशन, that in the yogi's statue or the statite seal, which animal was not present, which among the following is not present, and they will give the option rhino, elephant, tiger, buffalo, and instead of the buffalo they will enter you with the some new animal. Cow may be there, or some other animals may be there that will surely disturb you. Okay, so rabbit learn like this कि rhino, elephant, buffalo, elephant and tiger. These are four animals. So make some mnemonics. Okay, so it would be easy to learn. These were the four animals. Other than that jewelry was of two types. One was of clay and second was of like silver, gold or copper. So the rich class used to the good jewelry like silver, copper or the gold. But the lower class were having the clay jewelry. It has been found from different places. Some toys has also been found from the different places. Like from Kalibanga, a cart has been found in this shape. Means the cart is in like this shape. And what is the benefit of having the cart of this kind? The person sitting would not fall off from here. ये कालीबंगा से मिली है. ओके, तो ये चीजें मिली है. तो जनरली क्या होती थी, सील्स है, सील्स पे पिक्टोग्राफिक जनरली चीजें बताई गई है. मदर गोडेज एक हेडगियर के साथ, मेल कुछ हेडगियर के साथ में प्रेजेंट है. कई बार उनके ऊपर हॉर्न भी है. देयर आर यूज्ड टू बी द हॉर्न्स आल्सो. नाउ कि मेल और फीमेल के कई कॉमन ऑर्नामेंट्स और ज्वेलरी है रिलीजन के अंदर कि वो पहन रहे हैं कि दैट इज गिर्डल, दैट इज नेकलेस, दैट इज हैविंग द इयरिंग्स. ओके, these kind of the jewelries are there. Now we have discussed the what the kind of the religion is. Means they are not the statue worshipper, they are not the some kinds of the forms of the god. They don't worship some particular kind of the gods, but they worship the nature. Like, and for that they have armlets on their hand, that they think that there are evil spirits. Like कुछ स्पिरिट्स है, कुछ भूत प्रेत है, उसको दूर करने के लिए वो आर्मलेट्स बांध रहे हैं हाथ पे. ठीक है, उनका ऐसा मानना है. पीपल लीव्स आर दे. ओके, सो ये कल्चर से हमें ऑब्टेन होता है, अलग अलग सील से ऑब्टेन होता है. नेक्स्ट कि सोसाइटी हो गई, ट्रेड हो गया, रिलीजन हो गया. अब इसके अलावा चौथा पॉइंट कौन सा लिखा था हमने, स्क्रिप्ट. नाउ वी कम ऑन स्क्रिप्ट ओनली कि स्क्रिप्ट कैसी थी उनकी. तो स्क्रिप्ट है वो पिक्टोग्राफिक है. कैसी है, पिक्टोग्राफिक. मीन्स दे यूजुअली टीच और दे कम्युनिकेट इन द साइंस एंड देट वर पिक्चर्स. यस, दे वर लिटरेट. अगर हड़प्पा के बारे में अगर तुम्हें इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है ये कि दे वर, ऑफ कोर्स दे वर लिटरेट, ऑफ कोर्स दे वर लिटरेट. It cannot be said that they are not literate, because if they were not literate, how can the monuments or the citadels can be built without literacy? First thing, how the geometrical measures and weights can be there. Second thing, how the trade, art and craft can flourish in such and such way. How the industry of the bead making in Chahudado, at Lothal, in Kalibanga, in Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro progressed at such and such level. Agriculture produce in the middle India, like geography of like later on when the Harappan civilization was near to decline, वहां पे एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस दोआब एरिया में बड़ा अच्छा है. ओके, तो वो लिटरेट तो थे ही. पिक्टोग्राफिक उनकी स्क्रिप्ट है. हाँ, वो राइट टू लेफ्ट लिखते थे. उनकी स्क्रिप्ट है वो कैसी है, राइट टू लेफ्ट. वी कैन नॉट नेम द स्क्रिप्ट दैट what the exactly the script is, because it has been deciphered. Yes, some scientists, some historical scientists say that it was of the Baluch area, Baluch origin, and they have named also Brahui. The script of the name may be Brahui. That is still used in, that was used in the Baluch area, that today's Baluchistan, because Makran coast was flourished in that time, and some part of the western border like Sutka Kendor, that was flourished at that time. So the language used there was Brahui, and the Brahui is Balochi original language, and some historical thinkers say that the script was from here only. Okay, it may be or it may not be true, but or at large it can be said that we haven't deciphered or get the meaning that what actually their language want to say us. Okay, now move to the next thing. It was all about the script कि उनकी स्क्रिप्ट कैसी है. दे राइट टू लेफ्ट उनकी स्क्रिप्ट चलती है. इट हैज नॉट बीन डेसिफर्ड yet. Second thing, Brahui means the language of the Baluchistan. Modern Baluchistan is the said or that it appeared to be the same language that Indus Valley civilization people used. So it may be termed that it may be the Brahui and other things that still the research is going on this area. 400 seals have been obtained. Near about 400 seals has been obtained. Now the final point, that how they decline. Before decline, some other cultures contemporary with the IVC also developed. That cultures were kept in the Chalcolithic. They were Chalcolithic because we are reading the Stone Age, and that is lithium means stone, chalco means copper. So what is Chalcolithic age? What is Chalcolithic age? It is copper stone age. There is use of the copper. There is use of stone. Yes, Harappans used copper. Harappan make the arrow, spearheads, axes, chisels. These were made by the Harappans with the help of the copper. But these all the four were not for the wars. They were for the defense from animals. There is no record or no proof that there was war. The proof is of that it was about the defense, because from the what we have obtained from there, we can easily take the point that they were not for killing someone. They were for the defending themselves when they go on the hunting or the gatherer, like they were killing the animals before adopting the agriculture. So this Chalcolithic culture was having the agriculture. Before agriculture, they were hunters. And in example of it is Rajasthan and the southern Rajasthan, like the Banas culture. Banas culture was there. It progressed in the Chalcolithic phase only. Giloon and Ahad, and their era was 2600 to 1900, means matured for phase only 2600 to 1900. That was Banas, Giloon and Ahad. In the Indian history, we will read these three cultures. That first is Banas culture, Giloon and Ahad. All the three are in the proximity of the Udaipur and Rajsaman, and they are known as Banas culture near the Banas river, Ahad culture near the that only river, Ahad river, and the Giloon. So these three cultures were around the river. Copper was there. Copper utensils were found there. Okay, mud houses and the stone houses both were found from here. Some houses were mud houses, and from Ahad and Giloon, stone houses were also obtained, but not burnt bricks were used. Second, Kaitha culture. Kaitha culture was obtained in the MP, okay, near river Chambal. So you have to keep in the mind that after Giloon And the Banas culture, it was Kaitha culture, and it was in the 2200 to 2200 100 BC, 2100 BC. So the first culture was Banas culture. After it, Kaitha culture was there. Third, Jorwe culture, and this Jorwe culture was in Maharashtra. Two names are famous here: Inamgaon and Chandoli. And Jorwe culture was in Pune, near Pune. So keep in your mind that these three cultures was there. First was Banas, and three sites were there in Rajasthan: Banas, Gilund, and Ahar. BGA. Kaitha culture, that belongs to the Madhya Pradesh, and it is near Chambal. Okay, it is near Chambal. Here, agriculture was practiced. Food was staple. Food was like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, lentil. Okay, jawar. These were the crops. Jorve culture. It was in the Maharashtra. Inamgaon and Chandoli, two specific sites have been excavated, and from there, around 60 kg utensils and the other artifacts have been found. Dead bodies and the burials have been found. Houses have been found, and many other things have been found. That rhino, that is some other animals, like some proof of that near to horse, because there in IVC no horse was found. There was no evidence of horse before Aryans, before Vedic culture. But some places like Sutka Gendor and like Chandoli and the Navdatoli Maharashtra, Navdatoli MP, and Inamgaon and Chandoli in the Maharashtra, some proof of horses or horse-like animal. It is still debatable. We cannot prove. In UPSC, a question was asked and it was debated for long, and that finally it was summarized that horse was not there. There was no sound proof of horse in the Indus Valley Civilization. Got it? This is the clear meaning. Okay. Now move to the next. Ki when society was flourishing, so there may be the dead burial ceremony like Mesopotamia and Egypt. इजिप्ट में क्या मिले? पिरामिड. और मेसोपोटामिया में क्या मिले? रॉयल सिमेट्री. So pyramids are there in the Egypt and royal symmetry there in Mesopotamia. But अगर इंडिया की बात करूं, no such rituals after death. इंडिया के अंदर कोई जो इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन है उसके अंदर ऐसा कुछ नहीं मिला. वहां पे सेट ऑफ रूल्स है. सिमेट्री के सेट ऑफ रूल्स है या ग्रेवयार्ड के सेट ऑफ रूल्स है कि नॉर्थ साइड में हेड और साउथ में लेग्स. वी आर स्टिल फॉलोइंग इट फ्रॉम द आईवीसी कि हेड है वो किधर होना चाहिए? नॉर्थ साइड में. और लेग्स किधर होने चाहिए? साउथ साइड में. किसके? डेड बॉडी के. कालीबंगा एंड लोथल, वहां से कुछ डेड बॉडी ब्यूरियल्स मिले हमें एग्जीक्यूशन की तक. तो हमें क्या पता चला वहां पे कि कई बार उनको ग्रुप में भी साथ में सिमेट्री में डाला जाता था, ग्रुप में भी ग्रेवयार्ड में डाला जाता था. तो वो जॉइंट में भी है. जैसे लोथल 2-3 कपल्स, मेन के भी और वुमेन के भी. मैन एंड वीमेन के मिले हैं लोथल से, और सिंगल भी उनको ब्यूरी किया जाता था। उनके साथ में कॉपर यूटेंसियल्स मिले हैं, पोर्ट्स मिले, ज्वेलरी मिली। सो व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द ज्वेलरी, पोर्ट्स, copper utensil, and some food is also there, because Hadappans think that life is also present after death. There is a life after death. This is thought by the Hadappans. So they think that there is, certainly there is life after death. So they are having copper utensil, pots, and jewelry. Next thing, yes, these things are obtained from them. रॉयल सिमेट्री वाज ऑब्टेन्ड इन मेसोपोटामिया, इजिप्ट में पिरामिड, इंडस वैली में क्या मिला। हमारे सेट ऑफ रूल्स थे कि नॉर्थ में सर रखना है मरते टाइम, साउथ में लेग्स रखने हैं, और साथ में कपल्स लोथल में मिले, कुछ कपल कालीबंगा में मिले। एक हमें स्कल मिला जिसके चाइल्ड का जो एडोलेसेंस से थोड़ी कम एज में है, और उसके खोपड़ी में स्कल में देर आर 6 stitches and there are 6 holes are present there, कि उसका जो सर है उसमें 6 holes है। अब यहां से क्या पता चलता है कि दे क्योर द डिजीजेस, दे क्योर डिजीजेस। वो कोई ना कोई क्योर जानते हैं, कोई ना कोई वहां पे प्रैक्टिस है ऐसी जहां पे वो मेडिसिन दे रहे हैं, बिकॉज द होल्स इन द स्कल may be the evidence that yes, the cure for some diseases, severe diseases. Now these topics have been completed, that we have read society, religion, and the final thing, okay, what was their dead practices, how the trade flourished. Now the last topic comes, that is decline. And in decline there are many factors, like some say these are the major 4 reasons. Some historians say that there was an earthquake, like many Marshall, like Cunningham, when they Dayaram Sahni or R.D. Banerjee, they say there may be the earthquake. When they were reading it, when they were doing some research over it. Some like Oralistine said that flood and droughts may be there. Martin Wheeler was also there. Ghaggar Hakda river course was also changed. So earthquake reason was the first reason, that they think that there was a severe earthquake due to which the civilization was the down and the sand dunes came above it, and with the time they lost the appearance. Okay, the flood and droughts was the other reason. There may be some floods, or there may be some continuous droughts, because the flood theory is considered in Mohenjo-Daro, that some dam was constructed and this dam finally broke, And when at the time the dam broke down, there was flood in the huge area, and the Mohenjo-Daro in the later Harappan phase, it was reduced from 85 acres to 15 acres. So means that Mohenjo-Daro is not progressing same as it was progressing in the mature Harappan phase. थर्ड थिंग, ये भी बोला जाता है कि घग्गर हाकड़ा हाकरा जो रिवर है, जिसको हम सरस्वती रिवर बेसिन के साथ में जोड़ते हैं, जो कि इम्पोर्टेंट रिवर है, इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन की इम्पोर्टेंट रिवर है। जैसे ही सरस्वती रिवर कोर्स चेंज करती है, घग्गर हाकड़ा बेसिन है जो राजस्थान में पहले एंटर हो रहा है, पंजाब में एंटर हो रहा है, नाउ इट इज चेंजिंग द कोर्सेज एंड फाइनली ड्राइड। इसके ड्राइड होने के साथ में ही क्या हो जाता है, इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन का डिक्लाइन शुरू। ओके, and the fourth one is, and the final and the least important is that Aryan attacked them, but there were no there were no evidences. Now this is negated, this is the least supported claim that was there Aryan invasion, because many thought that Aryans were the Indians only, why they will attack. Second thing, they were not, Hadappans never developed their warfare materials. So when there was no war material, if Aryans really attacked them, then they would also later develop some war material. So there was no such attack. And Aryans came in the later 15th and the 1000 BC, that is Iron Age. Before that, the Harappan civilization is completely disappeared from the mainland, and it was only present in the outskirts as the form of the agriculturist or the pastoralist, like in the belt of the Ganga Doab and the eastern side now. Okay, so इस फॉर्म में इनका डिक्लाइन। हमने पूरा इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन चैप्टर डीपली पढ़ लिया, फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ द व्यू ऑफ द प्रीलिम्स, फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ द व्यू ऑफ द मेंस, एंड फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ द व्यू ऑफ द ऑप्शनल आल्सो, or any GS subject in the any prelims examination of the PCS like MPPCS, MPSC, RAS, or any other examination like that. Any other things are there. Competitive exam of the one day examination. Now, ancient history, we will test some questions. We will test some questions that what we have read, now we can answer or not. So, I will move to the question answer section. First, I will give 4 to 5 seconds, then you can answer that. So, on your screen, it is the first question. मैं थोड़ा हट जाता हूँ ताकि you can read it. What modern day country holds the majority of the discovered Harappan sites alongside India? कि इंडिया के साइड में कौन सा ऐसा कंट्री है जिसके अंदर मेजोरिटी ऑफ द साइट्स मिली है? सो यू हैव टू पिक वन आउट ऑफ इट इज अ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन। नाउ मूव दैट, इजिप्ट है, वहां पे हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन सबसे ज्यादा मिला क्या? नहीं, कंट्री दूसरा है। ओके, ईरान नहीं, चाइना नहीं। सो द कॉन्टेम्पररी जहां पे इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन सबसे ज्यादा साइट मिली, दैट इज इन पाकिस्तान। टुडे आल्सो द मेजर साइट्स आर इन पाकिस्तान ओनली। टुडे मेजर साइट्स आर इन Pakistan only after the division of the 1947. The majority of the IVC site, because that were around the Indus River and the outskirts of it, or the river Ravi, okay, Larkana district, मोंटेगोमेरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट और पाकिस्तान, ज्यादातर साइट्स वहीं चली गई। ओके, लाइक सुक्ता, गेंडोर और द मकान कोस्ट, मकरान कोस्ट, ऑल आर देयर ओनली। सो इट्स आंसर वुड बी द पाकिस्तान। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, द 10 सेकंड वुड बी गिवन टू यू, देन आफ्टर आई विल कंप्लीट। Which was the first site excavated the IVC civilization? This question was on the first इंडस वैली पार्ट फर्स्ट, एंड यू हैव कंप्लीटेड कि इसका नाम हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन क्यों पड़ा? क्योंकि इट वाज द फर्स्ट साइट। मोहनजोदाड़ो नहीं थी फर्स्ट साइट, अगर मोहनजोदाड़ो फर्स्ट साइट होती तो इसको आईवीसी के अलावा मोहनजोदड़ो सिविलाइजेशन भी बोला जाता। जब नाम उसका लोथल साइट भी नहीं है, मोहनजोदाड़ो भी नहीं है, कालीबंगा भी नहीं है, तो क्या बचा? आंसर वुड बी हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन एंड द फर्स्ट साइट वाज हड़प्पा। The famous Great Bath, a massive public brick structure, was discovered in which site? So it is a very easy question. It is obtained from the Mohenjo-Daro. Obtained from the Mohenjo-Daro. So these are small questions I have built as a PYQ. So that concept building would be there. After course would be completed, I will have a long statement based question for the UPSC. So they are the hard questions. First you learn some small things, then the harder concept would be built. Okay, the medium, intermediate level or the hard level would be given. Next question. Which of the following Indus Valley site is uniquely renowned for its ancient dockyard? Word dockyard is connected to the only one site, and that is Lothal. That is Lothal. Ropad is not connected. Alamgirpur नहीं है और कोट दीजी भी नहीं है. कोट दीजी in Pakistan, Alamgirpur in is UP and it is in Ropad is in Punjab. Next question. The seals used by the merchants of the IVC were primarily carved out of which material? We have discussed it many times that iron तो आया ही नहीं था वहां पे. There was no iron. There was gold, but the seals were not of gold. Okay, terracotta was also there, but seals were not of terracotta. Seals were of statite. So the answer would be statite. It is soapstone, a form of sandstone. Next question. Which major historical age does the IVC belong to? IVC किस major age से belong करती है? Iron age? Can it be answer? No. Neolithic age? That is agriculture age? Answer no. Bronze age or Paleolithic age? Paleo means old stone. It is also not. Bronze age. और ब्रॉन्ज में कौन सी है वो? चेल्कोलिथिक एज. कई बार ऑप्शन में आपको चेल्कोलिथिक भी मिल सकता है. व्हेन देयर वुड बी चेल्कोलिथिक because the instruments obtained from there is chalcedony, chert, carnelian, these एजेट. तो वो क्या है? चेल्कोलिथिक एज है, ब्रॉन्ज एज है. नेक्स्ट. व्हाट यूनिक आर्किटेक्चरल फीचर सेट हड़प्पन सिटीज अपार्ट फ्रॉम अदर एंशिएंट सिविलाइजेशन? कि हड़प्पा की ऐसे कौन सी खासियत थी कि उसको अलग बनाती है दूसरी सिविलाइजेशन से? High stone pyramids. Were there pyramids or not? No, it was the characteristics of the Egypt, not IVC. Underground cave dwellings. क्या अंडरग्राउंड केव बनाते थे वो? नो, नहीं बनाते थे. मैसिव सर्कुलर प्लेसेस. सर्कुलर प्लेसेस थे क्या? नहीं. सिटाडेल्स थे वहां तो, जो कि ईस्टर्न वेस्टर्न में बटे हुए थे. तो वहां पे क्या था कि ग्रिड प्लानेड लेआउट्स विद एडवांस ड्रेनेज सिस्टम. जो उनका नाली बनाने का था, ड्रेन सिस्टम, वो बड़ा बेहतर था. चेम्बर्स के साथ, सोक पिट्स वर देयर. चेम्बर्स को बीच में निकाल के उनकी गंदगी साफ की जा सकती थी. देयर वाज वेल इन एवरी हाउस. डोर्स वर एट बैक साइड. फ्रंट गेट उनके छोटे होते थे और एंट्री के लिए नहीं होते थे. बैक साइड से जो स्ट्रीट में खुलती थी छोटी गली में, ताकि एक्सीडेंट नहीं हो मेन रोड पे जाते ही. एक लेन में होते थे घर. राइट एंगल्स पे रोड कट करते थे. ये हमने पढ़ा भी था. ओके. Why do the modern historians still face the immense trouble completely understanding the political or social structure of the Harappan people? क्यों मॉडर्न हिस्टोरियंस को अभी भी फील होता है कि जो आर्टिफैक्ट्स है उनको कनेक्ट करने से कि वो हड़प्पन पीपल के थे कि नहीं? कि नो आर्टिफैक्ट्स और रूइन सर्वाइव. ऐसा तो नहीं है. आर्टिफैक्ट्स मिले वहां से, तो ये पॉइंट तो गलत हो गया. द सिविलाइजेशन हैड नो लैंग्वेज. लैंग्वेज तो है. द ये भी गलत हो गया. fourth पढ़ते हैं, the cities were completely wiped out by the volcanic lava. We cannot claim that it was wiped out by the volcanic lava, and it has not been given the answer by historian also, because there were the concept like the earthquake was there, drought or the floods were there, and Ghaggar Hakra river changed its course, like Saraswati river changed its course or the dried down with the passage of the time. Okay, the Indus script remains entirely undeciphered. कि इंडस स्क्रिप्ट है वो entirely undeciphered रही. This is the main reason. This is the major reason. Okay. Next, which of the following metals was notably unknown to the people of Indus Valley Civilization? कि कौन से लोग हैं, which of the following metals, कौन से मेटल है was notably unknown to the people of the Indus Valley? आईवीसी के पीपल है वो कौन से मेटल के बारे में नहीं जानते थे? कॉपर के बारे में जानते थे, कॉपर एज ही है वो. ब्रॉन्ज के बारे में भी जानते थे, ब्रॉन्ज कॉपर एज ही बोला जाता है. टोटल ब्रॉन्ज कॉपर एक ही चीज है. आयरन और गोल्ड, गोल्ड भी है वहां पे, गोल्ड यूटेंसिल्स आर आल्सो देयर, सिल्वर इज आल्सो देयर. ओनली द मेटल नॉट फाउंड वाज आयरन, एंड आयरन इज comes with the Vedic era. Which official was the DG of the Archaeological Survey of India when the discovery of the civilization was announced in 1924? This is somewhat question. It is about the fact, not about the major description or theory. It is about the fact कि 94 में, जब 1924 में सिविलाइजेशन की एग्जीक्यूशन हो रही थी या सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया के अंदर ये एएसआई के अंदर शामिल किया गया, तब उसके चीफ कौन थे, कि कौन सा ऑफिशियल था? तो एलेक्जेंडर कनिंगम, ही मे बी देयर. दयाराम साहनी वाज नॉट. आर.डी. बैनर्जी नॉट. दीज वर द ऑफिशियल who were given the in charge to excavate the site. Either it is Alexander Cunningham or Sir John Marshall. Alexander Cunningham was just before it, so the John Marshall was in 1924 जो इसका ऑफिशियल था. और इनके अंडर में ये दो लोग, आर.डी. बैनर्जी और दयाराम साहनी. दयाराम साहनी is associated with the Harappan culture, and the R.D. Banerjee is Rakhal Das Banerjee with Mohenjo-Daro. With Mohenjo-Daro. क्लियर है? ठीक है. With this, all the questions have been completed. Okay. Now we will move to the next topic, that would be the either the Stone Age or the next class can be about the Mahajanpads. So whatever we will have, relate to it. Bye. Take care. Good night.